The frost stretched endlessly across the barren moon of Kelvar 9, a white desert where nothing lived and nothing grew. The wind howled through crystalline formations that jutted from the ice like broken teeth, singing songs of desolation that had echoed unchanged for 10,000 cycles. Riven's paws crunched through the surface layer, each step a small victory against the cold that sought to claim him. His fur, thick and silver like all his kind, provided little comfort here. The elders had warned him crossing the frost was a right reserved for those who sought wisdom, not comfort. Why do we bow? He had asked his mother before departing. She had touched her muzzle to his forehead, her eyes distant with memory. Because she earned it. Cub. Because when the galaxy burned, one human stood between our world and oblivion. Now, 3 days into his journey, Riven understood why so few attempted this pilgrimage. The cold wasn't merely physical, it was existential, seeping into his bones and whispering that he was insignificant, that he should turn back, that some truths were better left unknown. But he pressed forward. On the 4th day, he saw it. The monument rose from the frost like a finger pointing at the stars, a structure of dark stone that defied the ice's attempt to swallow it. As Riven drew closer, he could see the carvings that covered every surface, intricate and deliberate, placed there by 100 different species in 100 different scripts. At the base, a single name was carved in letters 3 times Riven's height, Alara. Riven's breath caught. He had heard the stories, passed down through generations of his people, but standing here made them real in a way words never could. His legs trembled not from cold, but from the weight of history pressing down upon his shoulders. He bowed, pressing his muzzle to the frozen ground. The monument's base held a viewing crystal, preserved by technology Riven's people had only begun to understand. He pressed his paw against it, and the frost around him seemed to fall away. The memory bloomed. The Krivex had come without warning, as apex predators always did. Their vessels blotted out the stars, each one a cathedral of death housing weapons that could crack worlds. They had swept through the outer systems like a plague, consuming, destroying, leaving only silence in their wake. Riven watched through the crystal as his home world, young and vibrant in this ancient recording, hung in space like a jewel. The Krivex fleet descended upon it, their intentions clear. Then she appeared, a single human vessel, small and battered, scarred from 1,000 battles. It should have been insignificant against the Armada, a candle against a hurricane, but Alara had never understood the meaning of insignificant. This is Commander Alara of the Terran Defense Fleet. Her voice echoed through the crystal, and Riven felt his fur stand on end. There was no fear in that voice, no hesitation. You will not touch this world. The Krivex had laughed. Riven could hear it in the transmission, a sound like grinding metal. They had destroyed 17 civilizations. What was one human? They learned. Alara's ship danced between the Krivex vessels like a living thing, weapons firing with precision that seemed impossible. But it wasn't enough. It could never be enough. One ship against thousands. So she changed the equation. I'm sorry, Alara had whispered, and Riven heard something break in her voice. Tell them I'm sorry. Her ship's reactor went critical, but she didn't run. Instead, she dove into the heart of the Krivex formation, her vessel becoming a star that burned brighter than any sun. The explosion tore through space-time itself, creating a cascade that ignited the Krivex ship's exotic matter cores one by one. The Armada died in seconds, consumed by the very weapons they had wielded. Alara died with them, but Riven's world lived. The memory faded, and Riven found himself gasping, tears freezing on his fur. Around the monument, he now noticed what he had missed before: thousands of small offerings left by pilgrims who had come before. Crystals, carved bones, strips of fabric in every color imaginable. Each one, a prayer of gratitude. He understood now why every cub that crossed the frost bowed before her name. Alara had been one human, alone against impossible odds. And she had chosen to burn herself out so that others, strangers, aliens, people she would never meet, might see another sunrise. Riven placed his own offering at the monument's base, a small crystal carved with his family's crest. It seemed inadequate, too small to honor such a sacrifice. "Thank you," he whispered to the frost, to the monument, to the memory of a human who had become legend. "Thank you for my life, for my mother's life, for all the lives you saved." The wind shifted, and for just a moment, Riven could have sworn he heard something, not words, but a feeling. Warm despite the cold. A sense of acknowledgement, of a duty fulfilled, of peace earned. He bowed again. Deeper this time, holding the position until his muscles screamed. When he finally rose, he felt different. Heavier with knowledge. Lighter with purpose. The journey back across the frost would be long. But Riven no longer dreaded it. He carried something now, a story. A truth. A debt of gratitude that could never be repaid, but must always be remembered. Behind him, the monument stood eternal. Alera's name carved into stone and history alike. The frost would never claim it, nor would time erase it. As long as Riven's people drew breath, as long as cubs made the pilgrimage across the ice, the human's grave would rest beyond the frost, and every one of them would bow before her name.